Let's look ahead to Sunday, the end of week 19. What are we doing to stream in to get that W? Michael Bolton, big W fan.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and my whole life is consistent. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Do you ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go and find your next big adventure. Check them all out today at nissanusa.com. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free. We're available on all platforms. Double bang, thumb up, bell, notifications, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Do it all. It's great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's look at Sunday's games. Busy Sunday, 9 games on. You've got to make sure you're targeting the right players to get that win, either to push yourself into the playoffs, to secure a seed, or to get the win. If you win, you're in. If you're out, if you lose, that might be it for you. So you've got to be like, you might have to make sacrifices. Supposed good players, or you think you're going to have great value rest of the season, you just might have to move on. That happens at this point of the season. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. We've got an early game. It is a 3 p.m. Eastern game. It is the Milwaukee Bucks and the LA Clippers. The Bucks, and I've got the schedule up there for next week. I'm not going to include this week because we all know that every team I talk about today is playing Sunday. So next week, the Bucks go Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. The Clippers go Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday next week. So they've got a pretty packed schedule with those 4 games on. I don't expect that Chris Middleton's going to play for the Bucks. Russell Westbrook's going to be out. And we saw Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden all listed questionable for the Clippers for Saturday. Now, they all played. James Harden was asked after the game on Saturday, hey, are you going to be available to play? And he said, yeah, that's the plan. But I'm just going to put all of them there as questionable for Sunday. It was weird that they all got the tag on Saturday. Then they all played. So I guess there's a little bit of mind games to it that you go, hey, are they actually going to suit up here on Sunday? So pay attention to that. Brook Lopez has been very up and down for the Bucks, so we do want to pay attention to his minutes, his production, and how he looks against his team, which does go smaller quite a bit. Guys that are currently getting boosted, we're looking at Leaky Beasley, obviously, with Chris Middleton out. Now, we know that Beasley's a hit-or-miss player, but the opportunities are still there, while Norman Powell is going to get more chances to take more shots with Westbrook out, and it could really amplify if Paul George or Kawhi is out. Then you go into the Amir Coffees into that situation as well, but Powell would be the number one, I would guess, biggest beneficiary there. The next game is the Indiana Pacers, and it is the Orlando Magic. The Pacers, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday is their schedule. Orlando is Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. We know that Ben Matherin's out for the season. Dougie McDirt is going to be out in this one, and then both Markelle Fultz and Jalen Suggs have popped up as questionable for your Orlando Magic. We keep seeing Suggs pop up randomly, not even in back-to-backs as out or questionable, which is clearly a little bit of a concern in terms of where his knee sits. And Suggs has missed a couple of games, missed the last game and now is questionable again for this one. So if both of those guys are out, there's going to be Gary Harris. You're going to have to see Mr. Black play more minutes, maybe even Caleb Houston into that role. Aaron Nesmith has a real big opportunity for the Pacers. No Matherin. Now, he's been pretty poor since coming back, Nesmith, but he's got this chance now to step up and solidify himself as a 12-team league guy. While for the Magic, I don't really feel super confident in Wendell Carter Jr., but let's see. Is he a 25-minute guy? Does he go back to 29? Where does his production lie? In terms of guys getting boosted, well, Aaron Nesmith's one of them, but Andy Nembhard is another one there. With no Matherin breathing down his throat, it pushes him into like a 32-minute-a-night role pretty consistently, and that means there are extra shots to go around there as well. And like I said, with both Suggs and Fultz under doubt coming into the game, Mr. Black has a chance to play some minutes. Now, you've got to be in a pretty deep league to be relying upon Anthony Black to produce numbers, because we know that the guy's played 20 minutes a game plus this season and is not even sniffing the top 350. But when you get down to desperation times, a guy that may be getting some more minutes, maybe we pay a little bit of attention. Just maybe. The next game is the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat. The Wizards have a pretty strong upcoming schedule. They do play 4 games next week as well, Tuesday, Thursday, and then the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, back-to-back. The Heat have a bad one because they don't play Monday or Tuesday in week 20. They go Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, so not great at the start of that week. We know that Marvin Bagley is going to be out for Washington. They've popped old mate Landry Shamet onto the injury report as questionable, and Tyler Hero and Kevin Love remain out. Remember when Tyler Hero hurt his knee? That's fine. I'm not even going to miss a game. Are we like 2 weeks into that now? It's been a long time. Like, players lie. I refuse to believe any player on any injury. It's ridiculous. What's on my radar for Washington? Tyus Jones. He's been very up and down. Not as much as his brother, but he has been quite up and down. I will see whether they do they fade off him at all here down the stretch and give more. We're seeing Jordan Poole play 33, 34 minutes a night. We're going to see more Jordan Poole carrying the load as a point guard coming off the bench and closing games. Does Jones sit at 25 minutes? It's key to watch. For the Heat, Jaime Jaquez was great last game. He had to shoot like 80% to get there, and I do not believe that Jaquez is a 12-team league player, especially with this big gap in the schedule coming up. But maybe he turns it back around. He's shot poorly for 2 months, and he was really good last game. Let's see if he's able to get a little hot streak going. Richaun Holmes, one of the biggest boosted players at the moment. No Bagley. He played 36 minutes last game. There's no guarantee that they go big minutes every game. The game before he played 25. But if he's getting 30 plus a night, Holmesy, well, we're into it, yeah? And then the other one is Dunk Robinson. Without Tyler Hero, Robinson's going to get those big minutes, and he's going to be a 12-team league guy, and I prefer him over Jaquez and over Caleb Martin. Houston, Sacramento. The Rockets pretty interesting yesterday. They got the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday game for this week, and the Kings go Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. So 3 games for each of these teams. The only player currently on the injury report is Sasha Vezenkov, who's dealing with that ankle problem. But what we saw last game is that Dylan Brooks got benched, and Amen Thompson went absolutely bananas. Now, we've seen benchings at times for this Rockets team. Jabari Smith has been benched at times. Şengün's been benched. Jalen Green has been benched. And then we got last game Dylan Brooks getting benched, and Thompson went crazy. But that does not mean that Amen Thompson's going to start. That does not mean that Amen Thompson's going to play 30 minutes a night. It doesn't not mean it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. So, of course, we need to watch that. Amen at this point is an excellent defensive stats streamer. He is going to be an unbelievably good fantasy player. I've got no doubt about that. But is he back to 20 minutes in this game? Where does it sit? For the Kings, Fanapan's Kevin Huerter. Yeah, look, he's terrible at the moment. He's barely playing. But there's going to be a period where the switch flips and he starts getting 30 a night. Mike Brown leans into him. He starts hitting 80% from 3 for 4 games, and you've got to try and get on top of it when it happens. There's no way of knowing when it happens, but we need to watch that. Guys that are getting boosted, well, what they're doing at the moment with Cam Whitmore is they're saying, come in, Cam, play 23 minutes and take every shot in the world. His usage is through the roof. He's scoring really well. He's a really good player, Cam Whitmore. I think he's going to be a very good player. There's not significant upside in terms of minutes available yet, but they're just letting him fire away. And the Kings are doing the same with Malik Monk, who's playing those 31 minutes a night, who is consistently better than Kevin Huerter. But you know what will happen. If Kevin Huerter comes out and goes 5 of 5 in the first quarter, well, Monk will play 22 minutes and old mate Mike Brown will lean into Kevin Huerter because that's his coaching plan. Shot go in, you're good. Shot miss, you're bad. That's how honestly, I'm not even, I am criticizing. I'm not really super criticizing. I am a little bit. But that's literally what he does. That's how he runs his rotations. And it has been how he's run his rotations for many years. Today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little bit further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Well, our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drives and for great escapes. Class-exclusive Google built-in is your always updating assistant to call on for almost anything. Gone are the days where you have to connect your phone to the car. We've got Google Maps, we've got Google Assistant, and the Google Play Store is built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Nissan's incredible lineup also includes the 2024 Nissan Armada, which will change what you expect from a full-size SUV. Picture a rugged 4x4 that can seat up to 8 in first-class luxury and style, tow bigger, and explore further in the 2024 Armada. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, and Nissan Armada and go and find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com. Let's go on to the next one. After that first bunch of four, we got the Pelicans taking on the Atlanta Hawks. For the Pelicans, both these teams don't play Monday or Tuesday, which is bad, honestly, from a scheduling perspective. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for the Pelicans. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for the Hawks. Dyson Daniels is going to be out for the Pelicans, and we know that Okongwu's out, Trae Young is out, Jalen Johnson is out, Kobe Buffkin is out. They're 4 rotation players and 3 starters. Let's say 2.5 starters, including Okongwu. For the Pelicans, it's about Jonas Valanciunas. He is regularly getting under 20 minutes a night. This team is going to be playing Capella and Fernando, so I'm not sure how much they're going to have Valanciunas out there. Does he go back to 23 minutes? Like, what happens with... Okay, honestly, with no games on Monday, Tuesday, with Valanciunas barely playing at the moment, like the 130th best player of the last month or whatever it is, honestly, if you are in dire straits, you're in do-or-die mode, your best player is injured, you need to scrounge victories, you know where this is going, you could drop Valanciunas. And I don't think it would be wrong. I would like to hold, but every indicator is telling us it's going the wrong way really quickly. For the Hawks, Clint Capella, speaking of going the wrong way, he's been very mid. Someone said, Josh, why don't you think that Okongwu is going to take the job back from Capella? Well, the reason I don't think that is that Okongwu obviously has been the backup the whole way through. He was awesome when he started those games, and I thought if he had maintained that momentum and that form, it would have been impossible, I would have thought, to push him back to the bench. But now that Capella's there and playing, well, it's going to be hard for them to say, well, here's a guy coming off this toe problem, we'll slide him back into start. So I don't know that happens, but Capella's still been really frustrating. In terms of guys getting boosted, well, Herb Jones is getting that boost with Dyson out, although his minutes have been a little bit down the last couple there, Herbalife, still want to roster him, but we also get into that spot, like in a points league, for example, is Herb worth holding for 2-0s to start the week? That's a debatable question. And then the Hawks, unbelievably, are starting Vit Krejci. Vit Krejci is starting in place of Jalen Johnson. They're bringing DeAndre Hunter off the bench. That doesn't mean that they do it necessarily in this one, but Vit Krejci, yes, I can't believe that this is happening. The Vit Krejci is getting minutes, and he's actually all right last game. He had steals, he had assists. That's a deeper league one, but it's there. Deep leagues exist. Next one, it is your Brooklyn Nets, your Cleveland Cavaliers. The Nets are coming in on a back-to-back in this one, and then they go Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. So they have a dreadful schedule. After Sunday, they play one game in the first 5 days of next week. So your fringe Nets, your Dorian Finney-Smiths, your Dennis Smiths, your maybe Dennis Schroeder. I'm not sure that that's one game in 5 nights. Might not be worth it. The Cavs, they're the only team that plays the Sunday, Monday back-to-back. Then they go Monday, Wednesday, Saturday next week. Cam Johnson, I don't know why I forgot to write out there. I don't expect that he plays in this game on Sunday for the Nets. Maybe he's back Wednesday. Lonnie Walker was out on Saturday, so I'm going to label him questionable. For the game Sunday, Don Mitchell's out, Evan Mobley's out, Max Strus is out, and Tristan Thompson's got like 3 games left on his suspension. For the Cavs, Isaac Okoro is the guy that we do want to watch. He's getting nice minutes. His production's solid. It's low upside, but it's solid enough to be considered, especially with the Sunday, Monday back-to-back, and then the Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, 3 games in 4 nights. Dorian Finney-Smith is also getting that boost in Brooklyn. Cam Thomas is back, and he is on a minutes restriction Saturday. I expect that he does play on Sunday under a restriction as well, but that impacts a lot of guys. But we're still a boost there for Finney-Smith with no Simmons and with no Johnson. And then the guy that's really flying at the moment is George Niang for the Cavs. Now, Strus is out, so Niang and Wade are going to start together again, I would guess, next to Okoro. And Niang's been the guy over Wade. And while I don't love Niang as a 12-team long-term guy, for a Sunday, Monday back-to-back where Mobley and probably Mitchell don't play and maybe Strus as well, there is a little bit there in old mate, the minivan, Georgie Niang. The Memphis Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder is our next game. The Grizzlies go Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday in week 20. The Thunder go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They've at least taken some of the doubt out of our Jordan Goodwin-ness because they've listed him doubtful with Achilles sore. So we don't have to worry about is he active, is he inactive. You do not need to roster him.
Get that garbage out of here!
It's like Max. Look, he's going to maybe play 3 games next week, but probably not. You got Johnny Conchar is doubtful. Luke Kennard is questionable. Gigi Jackson is questionable. And then, as per usual, Desmond Bain, Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, Ja Morant, all these guys still remain out for the question marks. Yuta Watanabe is also sidelined. Well, the Thunder, they're just clean. For the Grizzlies, Jake LaRavia, putting up really good numbers. I actually do think that he probably is a 12-team league guy at this point. As amazing that is to say, he probably is. For the Thunder, Josh Giddey, I still can't really figure out what he's doing. He's like 108th over the last 2 weeks in 24 minutes. But is he 20 minutes? Is he 24? Is he 28? I still don't really know. Who's boosted? Lamar Stevens, Jake LaRavia. Any spud you can think of that plays for Memphis is going to get random boosts. Stevens has had some pretty good efficiency nights. I don't believe in him long term. I do prefer LaRavia, but Stevens is getting the bump. And then I just put Jalen Williams there for the Thunder because he is sort of ramping his usage up at the moment. The Philadelphia 76ers and your New York Knickerbockers is that next game. The Sixers play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday next week, as do the New York Knicks. Embiid is out, Maxey is out, Melton is out, Covington is out, Julius Randle is out, OG Anunoby is out, and Mitchell Robinson is out. Maybe Anunoby returns on Tuesday. I would think Thursday is almost a definite, but maybe he's back Tuesday. No expectation that Randle returns this week, though, or Robinson. Paul Reed came off the bench last game. Didn't matter. He put up a great line. He played big minutes. Coming off the bench always makes you more scared of the minutes upside, but he does need to be on rosters. And then what we need to watch for the Knicks is Isaiah Hartenstein, who is still limited in terms of minutes. And honestly, with 3 games coming up, as much as I love Hartenstein, and as good as Hartenstein has been, he's had this Achilles problem for over 2 seasons now. And they keep saying, well, he's just keeping it easy, holding it till the playoffs, which is weird because like if Robinson's actually going to play in the playoffs, then you won't need 35 minutes a night of Hartenstein. So I don't really understand that. Oh, yeah, we're holding his minutes back so we can really push big minutes in the playoffs. And in the end, Thibodeau will probably play him 18 minutes a night. That doesn't really... Unless, has Tom made the decision that A, Robinson's not coming back, or B, Hartenstein's going to be the starter? Or are they just talking out of their ass? Probably option C there. Who's boosted? Kyle Lowry is. There's no Maxey, no Melton, so Lowry's going to start. He might get you 7 assists with 10 points. That's enough. The Oubre, Batum back and forward in the lineups and campaigns minutes, it's frustrating. Hield has just been like horrible for most of the way through here after those first couple of good games. We're still rostering him, but Lowry's who I'm really interested in. Of course, Josh Hart keeps getting gigantic minutes, 40 plus. He's putting up big numbers. The shooting is rough from him, and eventually when players do come back, people are going to lose out, but we're not there yet, are we? No, we're not. Good answer. The last game is the 2-2-game teams, the Wolves and the Lakers. They play on Sunday. And then they go into a 2-game week, which stinks. Minnesota plays Tuesday and Saturday, and the Lakers play Wednesday and Saturday. Towns is out, we know that. I don't expect that Monte Morris is going to play with a hamstring problem. I'm listing him doubtful. LeBron missed the last game for the Lakers. He's going to be listed questionable, irrespective of that injury anyway, so we know that. While Anthony Davis definitely has a shoulder problem, so I'm going to put him questionable, while Vanderbilt, Wood, and Vincent are out. Obviously, James and Davis, if they're in or out, changes a lot for that Lakers team. And it changes the value of holding on to someone like a Rui Hachimura or even trying out like a Jackson Hayes. Like if Davis is out, Jackson Hayes does become streamable. We're not holding him for a 2-game week though. So what's on my radar? The big fella, the Wizard of Naz Reid, was excellent last game. You don't expect that. Absolutely not. What did he shoot, like 70%? That's not what he does. Right? There is an overinflation of Naz Reid's value at the moment. He is inflated. He is getting more numbers, but just be really cautious. I don't know that he's a must-hold player next week. That's going to depend on a lot of situations. How tight your matchup is expected to be. Who are you adding off the waiver wire? How many other guys do you have with 3 or 2 games for the week? Reed is not this locked-in top 50 player, even with Towns out. Austin Reeves is another one that I want to watch for the Lakers. He's also a little borderline to me as a 2-game guy. I think I would probably hold him, but it is borderline. In terms of guys getting boost, well, obviously Reed is getting the boost, and D'Angelo Russell's not only getting the boost because LeBron might be out, and he goes through the roof in that spot, he's also shooting the absolute cover off it at the moment. He's at like 50% from 3 or 47% from 3 over the last 25 games. So he's getting a boost from just a hot streak shooting, but also an opportunity to get more usage with the potential of LeBron not being available to play, which, again, we don't know at this stage. Today's episode is also brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you are hiring for your small business, you want to find the quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Getting the right people in there to make your business successful, that's key, right? And not wasting time sifting through nonsense is also key. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to the professionals that you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That is linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, let us... well, that was all 9 of those games. So let's talk about schedule stuff. There's only one team going Sunday, Monday on the back-to-back, and that is Cleveland. They go 3 games in 4 nights, starting Sunday, Monday, and then on to Wednesday. So, if you are looking at George Niang, Isaac Okoro, Slamming Sammy Merrill, who's been brutal, or Dean Wade, this is your chance to utilize them. Big opportunity with those guys out. We don't know, Mitchell or Strus, how many of those 3 games in 4 nights that those blokes are going to play. Speaking of the next 4 days, so that's Sunday through to Wednesday, it's Cleveland who plays 3 and 4, but also Indiana, Memphis, and Sacramento. So your Jake LaRavias, your Andy Nempards, your Aaron Neesmiths, Fanapants perhaps, the Pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. Three games in 4 nights. Now, I gave you a whole Week 20 schedule idea in terms of maximizing games played. That was done earlier today. Go check that out. We're talking about different stuff here. If you don't want to use that plan, you don't want to use that method, you want to go shorter term streams, this is what we're talking about. Getting a 3 and 4 nights team in for a 1 and 4, which is Phoenix and Utah. We already talked about how bad Utah's stretch is here. They get a back-to-back at the end of the week, which helps. But your Bryce Sensabaugh, Taylor Hendrickses, Jordan Clarksons, really hard to consider holding. Same with the Royce O'Neal, Eric Gordon in Phoenix. Wouldn't drop a Yusuf Nurkic, but yeah, that's a bad schedule. 4 games in 6 nights, well, it's only the Clippers. This is why you worry about a rest on Sunday. They've got an absolutely jammed-packed part of their schedule. There are 5 teams that played 2 games in 6 nights starting Sunday. Brooklyn, Golden State, the Lakers, the Wolves, and the Jazz. We know the Lakers and the Wolves have got 2 games. We know the Nets have got 1 game in the first 5 days of the week, and the Warriors and the Jazz are in there as well as having particularly poor schedules. So if you're looking at Moses Moody or Brandon Pajemski with Steph Curry out, and Curry's out for the next few games, that schedule is not particularly strong for them to necessarily push them right over the edge. And if we go to 8 days, so Sunday through to the following Sunday, we've got the Clippers and the Wizards who go 5 and 8, so that value of Richaun Holmes there replacing Marvin Bagley is high. The Clippers, the Norman Powell stuff is there, and then you worry a little bit about the centers and the stars, how much they play. But 3 games in 8 nights, well, it's those 2 teams I mentioned, the Warriors and the Jazz, plus the 2 2-gamers, the Lakers and the Wolves. 3 games in 8 nights is very low. You can get the 2 boosts there by going to Washington and adding one. It's like a Pajemski drop for Richaun Holmes, even with Curry out. Makes a ton of sense, I think. Getting those extra games in, getting the weekend back-to-back out of Washington, getting the +2 for a waiver ad while also getting value on the Sunday. I reckon that's pretty smart stuff. If you're looking at just Sunday streams for a Yahoo Points Leagues, we are going to go to Dracaris Levert up top. We've got Precious Achura there, Richaun Holmes, Kyle Anderson, Santi Aldama, and Isaac Okoro. Naz Reid's name isn't on this list because he's 69% giggity rostered. And I'm only using guys 60% and under with an array of roster percentages, but all below 60. So Reid's name's not on this list. Yes, you prefer Reid over Anderson, but he's grabbed everywhere. Cool, got it. ESPN, same sort of names there, but a little bit of a different order. Levert, Anderson, Okoro, Richaun Holmes, Achua, and Santi Aldama. If we go to category leagues for the scoring categories, who do we stream in to get points? I've got DeAndre Hunter as an option, and then Cam Whitmore. He doesn't do anything else, but that's what he does. He could easily have 17 points in 23 minutes. If you're looking at 3-pointers, Leaky Beasley, and then I know he's been bad, Sam Merrill, right? But what else does he do? And with with Strus, Mitchell out, he's going to get an opportunity, and I would guess he's not going to be a 20% shooter for the 3rd game in a row, and he might have a 7 of 9 game. That's distinctly possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. And often, especially when we're trying to hit the win, we just need to go ham. We just need to go, who can hit me a lot? Is there a guy that might hit me 1-3? Yeah, that's not that exciting. Like Josh Hart might hit 1-3. Cool, good for him. Not saying Josh Hart shouldn't be rostered. But Merrill can go absolutely bananas here, and the opportunity is very clearly there. Big man stats. Look at rebounds and blocks. It's the same 2 guys that I like there, Holmes and Achua. Holmes is still available everywhere. Achua's like 50% available. So both of those guys have really good value. The guard stat section, Kyle Anderson might get you 5 to 6 assists, especially if Morris is out, and then Levert might do that as well. For steals, well, Amen Thompson is one of the best steals guys going around at the moment. He produces right across the board. And if we find minutes for him with no Green or no Brooks, if those guys get benched at all, Amen's going to go crazy. And then the guy that's widely available everywhere, that is Jose Alvarado. We know he can get steals in bushels. If we go to percentages, who can you stream in for your field goal percentage? Well, Richaun Holmes is there again. Jericho Sims is there. He's going to get his 20 minutes with Hartenstein still limited. And then free throws, I look towards DeAndre Hunter, and we also look towards Cole Anthony with doubts there surrounding old mate Suggsy and old mate Cal Fultz. And that is the end of the Daily Look Ahead show for Sunday. Get it right. Get yourself through to the next week of the fantasy basketball playoffs and drop it down in the comments below. Are you in the playoffs? Are you going to win? Is it a tight matchup? What categories do you need to win? Drop it down in the comments below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.